8th, 2022. I'm watching the Eyewitness News on ABC at 4 p.m. And they mentioned something about undocumented workers needing money. Now, what if you're a documented worker and you need money? Because it seems like they address the issues of undocumented workers. Now, I'm just confused again as to who gets involved in these things. Why are there even undocumented workers here? How did they get here? I'm a documented worker who can't seem to find work or a group or society or an entryway to where I need to be. But yet somehow in this dysfunction of New York, they walk around with a couple of signs making some noise, and they got a couple of $1 billion assigned to them, even though they're undocumented. And then it helped that not matriculation, but the articulation, the matrix for that is, it was whatever the billion number is, it helped 175,000 individuals. That was the conversion ratio, because billions sound like, oh my gosh, that sounds like that's a lot of money. Not when there's so much and it's not being appropriated in the correct way. And the real issues aren't even being addressed or corrected.
Very much. More than 300 demonstrators snarled traffic.
And it feels like the wrong population's getting punished. Just saying. I mean, I've been going through this my whole life. I just don't have a fancy network of lawyers and whatever in order to ask for where do I go and how do I get there? Where do I stand? What do you need me to do? What do you need me not to say? I mean, like, where'd the coach at the swimming team with the whistle go? He seemed to know what he was doing that day. And in that time period, I was really excited about humanity back then. I was like, okay, I've got people on the field. They're doing stuff. But then I don't know, I lost the ability to connect with that population and how their world is constructed and how to get to that world.
Traffic on the Brooklyn and Manhattan bridges as they march to demand more money for the New York Excluded Workers program.
Excluded workers. I don't even know what that means. I mean, the word excluded is I wasn't involved or I wasn't brought into the fold. But where does one go? How does one interact? And they're undocumented. I mean, I have a birth certificate and a social security number, not that it's ever done me any good. I live here. I was born here, but I've been excluded from whatever took place between 1978 and 2022.
The protesters are calling for an additional $3 billion in funding for that program. It provides help to workers who don't qualify for federal unemployment benefits. And most of these workers are undocumented immigrants.
Now, in the federal program, what they were saying, I don't think that they mentioned it on the news, but the instructions that were given originally was that at the federal level, you had to have worked within the last year in order to claim unemployment. I haven't been able to find work for several years. So that puts me again into this crevasse situation where I don't qualify based on, and I don't want to manipulate the system and get trapped in that detention.
The Excluded Workers Program paid out more than $2 billion to 128,000 people. A City University of New York study says $3 billion could help 175,000 New Yorkers.
Mayor Adams.
So there was the Matrix.
Push.
Undocumented immigrants. The Excluded Workers Program paid out more than $2 billion to 128,000 people.
So 2 billion to 128,000. So 128,000 people were benefit from 2,000,000,000. That's interesting how that matrix works. But again, how do these communities, like, how do these people organize themselves? How are they so tight knit? And yet I don't have anything that even looks slightly familiar to that. I just don't get it. Why it's so drastically different on Fish Island during the rock, paper with a scissor and some benediction somewhere of importance, knowing things. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.